Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is our Thursday, themeless Thursday, and we're going to be covering a wide variety of shows, of news happening over the day. Let's go ahead and get into our headlines. Today on Before Coffee. The Spanish city trying to make New York jealous this Christmas.
And NASA's daring mission to intercept an asteroid before it crashes into us.
Localized tornado rips roofs off houses as Storm Garrett sweeps across the UK.
And the world is less funny today as we lose Tommy Smothers.
Huge range of Christmas films on TV via streaming have a lot of fast food in there.
Those stories and more, which is National Chocolate Day, National Chocolate Candy Day, December 28th, 2023 on Before Coffee.
Okay. Now, I know Christmas has passed, but not only is the Spanish city trying to get more people to come for the Christmas light show than New York, but I think they're also going to try something every year. This is from Laura Locke on Euronews. The Christmas light show in Spain's Vigo is a tourist attraction, but can it top the big apples that its mayor would like? For 5 years, Abel Caballero, mayor of the Spanish city of Vigo, has had an obsession. I want to tell the mayor of New York to get ready because he's going to see the lights of Vigo from here, he declared. From a small office in the Atlantic coast city, the 77-year-old Caballero plans the lighting every year. And when Christmas comes, he challenges the mayor of the Big Apple. The first message was addressed to Bill de Blasio, and this year it was the turn of the current mayor, Eric Adams. New Yorkers will be jealous because Vigo's lights are simply the best, he said. That's not just the 11 million LED lights decorating the city streets, but also that 44-meter Christmas tree, giant Ferris wheel, skating rinks, and even snow machines that work wonders in Southern Europe city that hasn't seen snow since 1987. The spectacle cost the city almost 300,000 inhabitants, 2.37 million euros a year. Every year, Caballero, a socialist politician, starts a duel that the mayor of New York has so far refused to enter. But the Spanish mayor is not giving up, fighting a David versus Goliath battle on the international stage because he has won everything at home. He won a landslide victory in the country's last local elections in May. After 16 years in power, the mayor rules in the absolute majority. His longevity is remarkable in a country where political I can't say it. Where it's hard to be a politician has been rife in recent years. Christmas has a lot to do with me being the most elected mayor in Europe, Caballero told Euronews. But the most important thing is the distant dialogue with the people. It is about making the dialogue, the attention to the people, even a chat in the street, something permanent, he added. Though he attributed his success to several factors, there is no doubt that his Christmas fight is known throughout Spain. It has sparked the curiosity of Spaniards who travel to the city every year to see the light show for themselves. Before it started, Vigo had a 20% hotel occupancy on some Christmas weekends. This has completely changed, and now the city is usually full. Euronews called a hotel in the city center to check. They have no rooms available for the weekend, and they told us that it would be very difficult to find anything that is not booked. The man who served as the country's transport minister in 1985 returned to local politics to bring Christmas back to the city, among other things. I love Christmas. I have wonderful memories of it as a child. When I was young, society was different, less developed, but we lived Christmas very intensely, said the mayor. When I was 20, I was studying at Cambridge University and could not return to Spain for political reasons. It was during the dictatorship of Francisco Franco, and I spent Christmas there with Christina, my wife. We enjoyed it all the same, but with a great longing for the rest of the family, he continued. For this reason, the mayor wants Christmas to be a shared experience and for those to come to Vigo to feel at home. Vigo has become a kind of symbol for Christmas throughout Europe. We want it to be the same in America, and that's why we improve it every year. You might think about that after lighting up 450 streets in Vigo, the mayor's help would be extension of lighting dream, but nothing could be further from the truth. We don't have Christmas lights at home because it would be impossible to outdo the decorations in the city, he explains. On the streets of Vigo, voices are raised against the waste of public money and energy. Nevertheless, Caballero claims that the use of LED lights has reduced the city's consumption, but experts argue that these lights cause light pollution that many cases worse than caused by traditional light bulbs. The mayor defended himself by saying, everything has its critics these days, right? Well, I mean, he's just like, if you remember how the 2000 film The Grinch ends, where the Grinch becomes the most staunch celebrator of Christmas, it's like, this is what this guy is. He's like the real life Grinch. Yeah. He probably hated Christmas, and then he found the wonders of it or something, and now he's like, everyone celebrate Christmas, everyone! We all have to celebrate.
Right.
Put those curtains over your windows, because you won't be able to sleep at night. I love how there's always those, like, kind of Scrooges out there who are like, oh, I can't sleep because there's Christmas lights. It's like 1 month this happens, and they're like, oh, life sucks because I can't sleep at night because Christmas. I don't get it. I just wear a blindfold when I go to sleep. Problem solved.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Light pollution is not increased by LEDs, actually, because they can actually focus the light frequency in the one band, right? Like a light bulb you light, it gives off that frequency you see, which is basically fire.
Yeah.
But it also gives off ultraviolet, which you don't see. LEDs don't. Oh, they don't have to give off. They could. They could give off ultraviolet, but they don't. They're just specific colored frequencies. Anyway.
That's my story.
More science news. Not that was science news, but I was doing a little science there. Speaking of science, we have a article from the SciTechDaily.com. NASA's, this is an article by Lonnie Schechtman and Rob Garner, NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. OSIRIS-REx, now OSIRIS-APEX, is on a mission to study asteroid Apophis, utilizing its close approach to Earth in 2029. After successfully returning a sample from Bennu, the spacecraft will observe Apophis, an S-type asteroid, providing insights into solar space information and planetary defense. At the end of a long-haul road trip, it might be time to kick up your feet and rest a while, especially if you're a 7-year, 4 billion-mile journey to bring Earth a sample of asteroid Bennu. But OSIRIS-REx origins this is a big thing in parentheses. It's explaining the acronym OSIRIS-REx. Origin, Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, and Security Regolith Explorer. The NASA mission that accomplished this feat in September 20 is already on its way to explore a new destination. As my tongue tries to work. When OSIRIS-REx left Bennu on May 2021, the sample aboard its instruments were in great condition, and it still had a quarter of its fuel left. So instead of shutting down the spacecraft after it delivered the sample, the team proposed to dispatch it on a bonus mission to asteroid Apophis, with an expected arrival on April 2029. NASA agreed, and OSIRIS-APEX was born, which the last part stands for Security Apophis Explorer. Okay. Illustrate, well, that's talking about a picture. After considering several destinations, including Venus and various comets, NASA chose to send the spacecraft to Apophis, an S-type asteroid made of silicate materials and nickel iron, chocolate backing up, a fair bit different than the carbon-rich C-type Bennu. Instead of carbon, we got us a big old ball of sand. The intrigue of Apophis is an exceptionally close approach to our planet on April 13th, 2029. Although Apophis will not hit Earth during its encounter, we hope, or in the foreseeable future, the pass in 2029 will bring the asteroid within 20,000 miles of the surface, closer than some satellites, and close enough that it could be visible to the naked eye in the eastern hemisphere. Scientists estimate that asteroids apophisize about 367 yards across come this close to Earth only once every 7,500 years. So set your clock for the next time. These images of asteroid Apophis were recorded by asteroid. Let me do that again. These images of asteroid Apophis were recorded by radio antennas in Deep Space Network Goldstone Complex in California and the Gold Bank Telescope in West Virginia. The asteroid was 10.6 million miles away, and each pixel has a resolution of 127 feet or 38.75 meters. OSIRIS will study the Apophis immediately after such a pass, allowing us to see how its surface changes by interacting with Earth's gravity, said Amy Simon, the mission's project scientist based in NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. Apophis' close encounter with Earth will change the asteroid's orbit and length to its 30.6-hour day. The encounter also may cause quakes and landslides on the asteroid's surface that could churn up material and uncover what lies beneath. The close approach is a great natural experiment, said Donnie Mendoza Dell'Agostina, principal investigator for OSIRIS Apex at the University of Arizona in Tucson. We know that tidal forces and the accumulation of rubble pile material are a foundational process that could play a role in planet formation. They could inform how we got from debris in the early solar system to full-blown planets. Apophis represents more than just an opportunity to learn more about how solar systems and planets form. As it happens, most of the known potentially hazardous asteroids are also S-types. What the team learns about Apophis can inform a top priority at NASA. They're kind of repeating the same thing in this article, so we are going to wrap it up. So as you go, hopefully this asteroid is smacking us in April in 2029, but you know what? We kind of had it coming, didn't we?
Yeah, kind of.
Not the innocent
climate
animals
disaster
and
doesn't
shit,
get us
but
an
we
asteroid,
did.
Will.
Nothing personal to the elephants and stuff that's going to kill, but, you know, it's us humans. We caused it. We caused the wrath of the asteroid.
The rest of the asteroid.
A big old chunk of silica headed our way within 20,000 miles anyway.
All right. Speaking of the nature being angry, I guess you could consider that nature. Localized tornadoes are harming people and houses. I think mostly houses. Yeah. In Storm Garrett is in the UK. This is from Rebecca Ann Hughes. The Scottish Green Party has said climate change could be blamed for the storm. A localized tornado has severely damaged homes in Greater Manchester as Storm Garrett batters the UK. Thousands of people are also without power, and travel has been plunged into chaos across the country. Scotland has experienced heavy snowfalls as well as high winds and torrential rain. Electricity outages have been caused by falling trees and branches bringing down power lines. The localized tornado is reported to have caused significant damage to around 100 properties in Stalybridge in Tameside. Roofs were ripped off houses, walls collapsed, and trees were brought down. This incident has undoubtedly affected numerous people in Stalybridge area, with many residents displaced from their properties during the night, said Chief Superintendent Mark Dexter of Greater Manchester Police. The GMP received numerous reports late on Wednesday evening and declared a major incident due to the severity of the damage and the possible risk of public safety. The forces said that they have no reports of injuries, but many people were forced to flee their homes. Our highest priority is keeping people safe, which is why we are advising those who have been displaced not to return to or enter their properties, which have significant damage until they have been assessed by structural engineers, Dexter added. I would also like to urge members of public to avoid the area where possible and take extra care when traveling in vehicles on roads in Stalybridge and the surrounding areas due to debris on the roads. Areas of Scotland have been left without power as the storm sweeps the country. Around 16,000 properties are waiting to be reconnected. Scottish and Southern Electric Network SSEN has been working to restore connections, but say engineers are battling winds up to 130 kilometers an hour in some coast areas. The company has managed to restore power to 25,000 homes so far. The widespread extent of the damage, the ongoing adverse weather conditions, and the challenging access faults due to fallen trees, flooding, and road closures together mean the full network restoration will take time, an SSEN spokesperson said. Some customers in rural areas may be off supply for 48 hours. Was Storm Garrett caused by climate change? The Scottish Green Party want to blame it. It is clear we are suffering even more severe weather as the climate crisis worsens, the party said. It added that we must ensure we can adapt and act accordingly. Though it's impossible to pinpoint exactly how much of the role of climate change played in generating the tornado, environmental experts have warned that climate change could make storms worse. And that's true. Here in the Netherlands, we've been dealing with high winds for, I think, a month now. Just those high winds going through my window crack going... So, yeah, very windy, makes your house very cold because there's no heat. It just gets swept out by the wind, even if you close your windows. And those double panes don't do much against wind, unfortunately. Sorry?
Good for your windmills.
Haha. Yeah, good thing we have all these wind turbines. I'm sure we're making record in energy. Though I think at these wind speeds, you actually can't use turbines because they might get whipped off the post and flown into the air.
Right. True. They just, got it. Well, at least they get their maximum use at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Let me try to recover. I can't recover that one. All right.
That's that.
In sad news, if it's me yet, in sad news, Tommy Smothers has died. This is a story from the Hollywood Reporter, Mike Barnes. He and his brother Dick turned television upside down on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour before they were canned. Tom Smothers, the counterculture comedy icon admired for 1960s variety program he created and hosted with his younger brother Dick, and for the tenacity he displayed in frequent clashes with CBS censors, has died. He was 86. Smothers died Tuesday at his home in Santa Rosa, California, after a battle with cancer. His brother announced that a statement shared with the Hollywood Reporter by the National Comedy Center. Tom was not only the loving older brother that everyone would want in their life, he was one of a kind. Creative partner Dick, 84, said, "I am forever grateful to have spent a lifetime together with him on and off stage for over 60 years. Our relationship was like a good marriage. The longer we were together, the more we loved and respected one another. We were truly blessed." The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour ran from February 1967 until April 1969, when the pair were fired after 72 episodes and with their show in the top 10 and already renewed for a fourth season. Up against NBC Powerhouse Bonanza at 9 p.m. on Sunday nights, their program succeeded by attracting younger, hipper, more rebellious viewers while also launching the careers of Steve Martin, Rob Reiner, and Bob Einstein. Well, you know Bob Einstein is Super Dave Osborne. Mason Williams, and many more. Mason Williams is also a famous comedy writer. Clean cut and sporting closely cropped hair in an era of Easy Rider and acid trips, the former folk singers and makers of hit music comedy records did not look like the kind of guys who would be lightning rods for controversy. Their antics turned television upside down, blending slapstick humor with political satire, making them comedic heroes who blazed the trail, and followed today by satirists such as Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, and Samantha Bee. Mark Freeman wrote in his introduction to an oral history of the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour that was published in 2017. It was the first show to deal with the White House, Congress, war, counterculture, drugs, civil rights, Dick noted in the piece. We were the first in and the first out. We made comedy for TV relevant, not just escapism. We nailed it. Comedian David Steinberg did religious sermons that stirred up controversy. David Fry impersonated President Nixon as a buffoon. Censors killed many skits, including one about censors written by Elaine May, and the censors censored a skit about censors. What a coincidence! And changed the language in others through though clever references about drugs sometimes got through. Pat Paulson, one of the show's regulars, ran for president in 1968 in a spoof of national politics. CBS also preempted one episode with a rerun and yanked performances of Pete Seeger's anti-Vietnam War song, Waist Deep in the Big Money. He was allowed to sing it a year later. Of course, Pete Seeger was not on television because famously in the 50s, he was asked by a committee to name all your communist friends, and he's like, no. And so they blacklisted him. And that's when cancel culture really existed. Not this fake shit they got now where you just go and have yourself a podcast and then 80 million viewers and say, I was canceled. Nah. Pete Seeger was really canceled, but the Smothers Brothers brought him back on TV to sing Waist Deep in the Big Money, which is about anti-war idiots just keep marching into the quagmire. Anyway, CBS pulled that song from the air, but they let him perform a year later. And also, Harry Belafonte was also on there. Don't Stop the Carnival, which featured a video collage of the riots in the 1968 Democratic Convention. We tried something, we're told no. I wanted to know why, Tom said. Why is content controversial? I'm putting in something real, something with meaning. I couldn't understand why that would be an issue. And when it became one, I became extra stubborn. At the time, the Nixon administration had put the FCC on notice to watch for content it deemed inappropriate. After CBS banished the brothers, they fired a lawsuit against the network for breach of contract and copyright infringement. They won a settlement of about $90,000, but never regained their clout. Dickie and I always get pissed off when people say we were canceled. We were fired. Death can come in two ways, natural causes and murder. We were murdered. The show won an Emmy for writing after its demise, with Martin Einstein, Williams Lorenzo music, and Alan Bly among those sharing the honor. Tom and Dick, meanwhile, were nominated for Outstanding Variety Musical Series, but lost to Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. After the 2008 Emmys, Martin presented Tom with a special award, and the pair entered the TV Academy Hall of Fame 2 years later. A 2002 documentary, Smothered, detailed their duel with CBS. I watched that. That's how I know these details. Thomas Bolin Smothers III was born on February 2nd, 1937, in a U.S. Army hospital in Governor's Island in New York City, where his father was stationed. In 1941, the family moved to the Philippines when his dad was sent there. During World War II, his mother, Ruth, brought Tom and Dick and their younger sister, Sherry, to Southern California. His father died in a Japanese POW camp in 1945. So his father was probably on the Bataan Death March because he was in the Philippines. I did not know that. A Redondo Union High School in Redondo Beach. Tom started as a gymnast with the Seahawks and won the state championship in the parallel bars. Then competed in the pole vault at San Jose State. Dick, 21 months younger, was a distance runner. After playing in a group called the Casual Quintet, the brothers, Tom an acoustic guitar and Dick an upright bass, formed their own act in 1959. 2 years later, they played the famed Purple Onion in San Francisco, where they were regulars on the new Steve Allen show. Their banter between, and the mid-songs would become the focus of their act, and their sibling rivalry became their running gag. Mom always liked you best. Tom, who played the dumb one, often played the Dick, the straight man. He rattled your gaze into the camera. It was so believable. Many thought he was a dope. Tom was an overly enthusiastic 5-year-old who thought he had a grasp on things, Dick said. He was like Gracie Allen. Dumb, smart, smart, dumb. The louder we would protest he was right, the more I know he was wrong. So I'd try to correct him. When you have power wrapped in innocence, it's more palatable, Martin said. They were like little boys. Well, this is Steve Martin was talking. They were like little boys, but you always had Dickie there to reprimand Tommy when he would make an outrageous statement. It was like a naughty ventriloquist dummy who can get away with murder as long as the ventriloquist is there to say, you can't say that. It's perfect setup for getting a message across. Exactly. 1962, they released their album, The Two Sides of Smothers Brothers. One side had classic folk tunes, the other side had comedy tunes, some penned by Paulson. They were full steam into comedy on their next 3 albums. Meanwhile, they were appearing on The Danny Thomas Show and Burke's Law and heading into a concert at the Hollywood Bowl in 1964. From 65 to 66 season, the Smothers Brothers starred on the CBS sitcom most known as My Brother's the Angel, executive produced by Aaron Spelling. Dick played a bachelor publishing executive, and Tom, who had been lost at sea, was a dorking apprentice angel. The comedy was canceled after 32 episodes, and Tom thought it did not take full advantage of the brothers' abilities. So when they pitched the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour to CBS, they vowed to do things differently. If I ever get another show, I wanted a real audience and some real creative control, Tom said. So when we put the show together, CBS said, okay, it meant I could hire and fire and argue and discuss material. It was probably the most traumatic time in our country in terms of the shift of social and political landscape, Reiner said in Oral History. Tommy, with his cunning intellect and strong desire for social justice, wanted to tap into that. Paulson joined the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour in 1968 doing editorials, and that spawned his candidacy for president as a member of the straight-talking American Government Party, the Stag Party. A fundraiser was held in which the charge was 99 cents a plate, and the deadpan comedian received 51 votes in the New Hampshire primary. Martin's girlfriend was a dancer on the show, which led him to being hired. Einstein, in addition to writing, played the recurring character of Officer Judy. Officer Judy is pretty funny. Played a motorcycle cop. In one of the show's signature musical moments, a special effects explosion after a performance by The Who in 1967, forever changed Pete Townshend's hearing and blew Keith Moon's off his drum stand, all as Betty Davis stood in the wings. Also that year, Tom introduced Moby Grape, Otis Redding, and Janis Joplin's Big Brother and the Holding Company at the landmark Monterey Pop Festival. The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour at its peak attracted 30 million viewers a week, but it wouldn't last for long. I was so young and naive about what Tommy was doing, Rob Reiner said. He protected us while fighting tooth and nail to put things on TV that no one had before. As time goes by and I see what he had to deal with, I was so stupid for thinking he wasn't pushing for things. Little did I know it ultimately caused our being taken off TV. The brothers returned with the 1970 ABC Summer Show, another program for NBC that lasted 13 episodes in 75, and finally one more variety effort for CBS in 1988-89. Tom, sometimes with his brothers, sometimes not, appeared in such TV shows as Benson, Suddenly Susan, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Love American Style, and such film as Brian De Palma's Get to Know Your Rabbit, Pandemonium, and Steven Soderbergh, The Informant. He also played acoustic guitar on John Lennon and Yoko Ono's Give Peace a Chance and made an instructional video, The Yo-Yo Man, in 1988. Oh yeah, he was very good in yo-yo. Very multi-talented. Tom and Dick parlayed a dinner theater show into Broadway run of I Love My Wife in the late 1970s. And on the NBC drama Fits and Bones, Tom played a cameraman and Dick an investigative reporter at the Bay Area TV station. The show lasted 5 episodes before being canceled in 1981. On Wednesday, Journey Gunderson, executive director of National Comedy Center, called Tom an extraordinary comedic talent who, together with his brother, became the most enduring comedy duo in history, entertaining the world over 6 decades, but it was a true champion of freedom of speech, harnessing the power of comedy to push boundaries in our political consciousness. We are proud to bring Tom and Dick out of retirement and reunite them on stage in 2019 to celebrate their legacy and legendary careers, and we are honored to preserve Tom's remarkable work and legacy here at the National Comedy Center for generations. In addition to his brothers, survivors include children Bo and Riley, Rose, grandson Phoenix, and his sister-in-law Marie. He was predeceased in death by his son Tom and his sister Sherry. They both died in April. Wow. A private memorial service for family and friends is set to take place in 2024. Donations honoring Tom can be made to the National Comedy Center. There's a story. I hope you got the video I sent. Because you had plenty of time to edit while I was talking. I did get it.
There's no editing necessary. It's already done.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Now that we know everything about the show, let's talk about another TV problem, or I guess film and TV problem, which is Christmas films, and not old ones, but current ones being released today. This is from Jules Jesurum on NOS News. Candy Cane Lane, Klaus, The Christmas Chronicles, The Nightmare Before Christmas, First Date at Christmas, and of course Home Alone. It is a small selection of Christmas films that can be seen on TV and streaming services this year, but finding really good films on offer is sometimes quite difficult, say film experts. Many Christmas films have always been made in the United States, but not all productions found their way to the Netherlands, says film critic Wilfred Taken. Since 2018, he has been watching the new Christmas films that appear on streaming services. Streamers have increased the reach. You can put all the junk on it. He is mainly referring to so-called Hallmark Christmas films that can also be seen on TV and on streaming services, including Videoland and Prime. These films were originally made for American Hallmark Television Channel, which fills the network with them every year from October. Film journalist at NPO3 and VPRO Cinema Extra, Noah Johannes, who likes to watch Christmas films this period, also speaks of a mega offer. It really kills you. You can no longer see the forest for the Christmas trees. Wonderful. An illustration of that offer is Variety noted that Hallmark releases 40 films last year that take place during Christmas holidays. And then there's a competitor, Lifetime, who also produces many of these films. The Christmas film offering on streaming service is supplemented with old cinema, film, and original productions, of which more are released every year. Both reviewers mainly mention Hallmark films as having lower quality films. Johanna speaks of the fast food among Christmas films, guilty pleasures. The quality bar is lower, but there is a larger audience for it. Talkin says, there are usually very conservative rom-coms with an often busy woman from the big city who is successful but misses something. She then withdraws to her native village and falls in love with a childhood friend. These types of formula films are still popular, but Talkin sees more variation on streaming services. For example, there are stories about gay couples, and you see a little bit more color in films with predominantly black casts. Yet, he says there are also aspects, according to him, you would not accept in other films. He mentions, among other things, the pot of sugar that has been spread over the films, the cloyingly sweet nature of many of these films. You look less critically. You accept things that you normally wouldn't accept. Yeah, because it's Christmas. Johannes acknowledges that as a critic, sometimes she sets the bar low, a little lower than normal when watching Christmas films. But that does not mean that very good Christmas films are not made. Because also within the genre, there are films that can only be viewed for a nostalgic part of a view, but that are really well put together. The examples she mentions are classics such as, of course, It's a Wonderful Life from 1946, The Holiday from 2006, and The Holdovers, which was released this year. The top Christmas films in the Netherlands, at least, are The Grinch at number 1, Home Alone at number 2, Alvin and the Chipmunks, I don't know why, for number 3 of them. That must be the kid vote. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York for number 4. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which was the 2006 remake, I guess. Number 5. A Christmas Carol, number 6. Polar Express, Love Actually, Elf, and then The Holiday. As an example of a successful Christmas film in recent years, Johannes Jingle mentions Jangle, A Christmas Journey from 2020. The Netflix musical film is about a toy maker who goes in search of a stolen invention with his granddaughter. The film was made by Black director David Talbert, who was a big fan of Christmas films. Johannes has said he wanted to share the passions with his own children and saw that many of those films had almost no main characters of color. He didn't mind that, but he did think, let me make something of my own magical film with a colorful cast. She also mentions the Family Klaus series as an example of successful Christmas films in recent years, a Flemish-Dutch co-production about a boy who helps his grandfather, who is Santa Claus. Although not a Christmas film, but a Christmas series on Netflix, both film experts mention the Norwegian Christmas comedy Hjem til Jul as a good example of a truly refreshing production. Johannes says he's not afraid to color outside the lines, nice and quick, and not too well behaved. Talkin also praises the Norwegian series Jule Storm for the same markers. Do they They do not dare to say whether these titles will really become classics such as Love Actually and Home Alone. In any case, I don't think you'll get films that will replace the most popular classics, says Johannes. A title like Home Alone will last a long time. Every generation shares it with its children. Talkin thinks that some new films have the potential to become Christmas classics. It's always possible for the film studio. It is just like with Christmas songs. It is 100 shots and then one hit. So there's your list of up-and-coming Christmas things you should watch, I guess. If you're missing out on some new... If you're tired of watching The Grinch every year, try watching Jingle Mentions Jangle, A Christmas Journey, I guess, and Family Klaus, as well as hey, subtitles exist. Watch Hjem til Jul or Jule Storm. Some Norwegian Christmassy action there in for you. So, yeah, there you go. There's your list classic here from the Netherlands of the Christmas films that you should watch.
Well, that's a good. I think AI writes a lot of those Christmas movies.
Maybe, yeah.
It produced
40 years, yeah, 40 a year is a lot of films.
I think that's what the writers went on strike for. Was that specific network? It's like, yeah, they just ran a program and came out with 40 different movies and hired the same actors and put them in different roles. There we are. Okay, this day in history. December 28th. On this day in 1694, Mary II, who became Queen of England in 1689, died of smallpox in London at the age of 32. Mary, who was the Mary of William and Mary. In 1734, the outlaw Rob Roy, known as the Scottish Robin Hood, died. Distant relative of ours, I believe. Pretty sure. Rob Roy, what was his last name? His name was banned. I'll get back to it. You know, what was his last name? Anyway. I don't know. I don't get
I'm
his
not good
last
with
name.
names.
It was Mick something. McGregor. That's what it was. Rob Roy McGregor. The name McGregor was outlawed in Scotland, so people changed their names to Gregor or Gregory, but because Gregor was outlawed. Fun fact. Not so fun. Yeah. 1832, following his election to Senate, John C. Calhoun became the first U.S. vice president to resign. At that time, the Constitution did not have procedures for filling such a vacancy, and the post remained empty until Martin Van Buren was sworn in the following year. So I don't know what they were going to do if I guess Jackson was president. Would have died. 1895, the first public demonstration of the cinematograph, with the E at the end, an early motion picture apparatus designed by the Lumiere brothers, took place at the Grand Café in Paris. Motion pictures born on this day, 1895. 1918, while in prison for participating in a plot to gain Irish independence, Constance Markievicz became the first woman elected to the House of Commons. However, she refused to swear an oath of allegiance to the king and thus did not take her seat. You stand proud, woman. 1923, Gustav Eiffel, designer of the famous Eiffel Tower, died at the age of 91. 1934, Spanish sculptor Pablo Gargallo, known for his figures sculpted from iron and other metals, died. 1954, American actor Denzel Washington, known for his portrayals in Glory, Malcolm X, and Training Day, The Equalizer. Denzel Washington, happy birthday, born in 1954. 1973, U.S. President Richard Nixon signed the Endangered Species Act, which obliges federal and state governments to protect all species threatened to extinction that fall within the borders of the United States and its outlying territories. Well, there you go. Nixon did do something good, didn't he? There you go, Nixon. 2008, the Detroit Lions became the first NFL team in NFL history to lose all 16 games of the regular season. Way to go, losers. 2016, American actress and singer Debbie Reynolds died a day after the sudden unexpected death of her daughter, Carrie Fisher, who is a noted actress and screenwriter. So double tragedy. She just cannot face life without her daughter, Princess Leia. And what day is it today? Oh, we got featured stuff today. Sorry about that. Featured things today. Dun, 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 dun. Woodrow Wilson, former president of the United States, born on December 28th, 1856 in Staunton, Virginia. Died February 3rd, 1924 at the age of 67. My, he didn't get too many years either, did he? He had a stroke, too, like when he was 60, like 3 years before that.
Wow.
Yep. Wait, he was still in office. Yeah, he was in office, so it was like 5 years before that. Other birthdays today. John von Neumann, American mathematician, was born in 1903. Let's do some math. He's 120. He should be very proud. I did that in my head instantly. So, American mathematician getting his recognition there.
Yeah.
Stan Lee was born on this day. American comic book writer. Stan Lee's 101 today. Maggie Smith, British actress, born in 1934. And John Legend was born in 1978. And our featured event in 1065, Westminster Abbey opened. The original Westminster Abbey, located in London, was consecrated, opened this day in 1065 by Edward the Confessor, and became the site of coronations and other ceremonies of national significance in England. 1065. That was like right before the Battle of, whatchamacallit, the one where William the Conqueror, right? I'm terrible with names today. The Battle of whatchamacallit. You remember? Huh?
I'm always terrible at names.
It's right down there by France. He invaded from France. This day is also Pledge of Allegiance Day. It's Holy Innocents Day. It's National Short Film Day. National Chocolate Candy Day, which we already did that part. And it's National Card Playing Day. National Short Film Day. That's cool. What's a short film? Short films are great. You take a lot of time and are usually very funny or profound. Or they're cartoons, so your brain can take a vacation from reality.
Yeah.
But that's it today. Those are the dates for today. December 28th, 2028. I'm at 4 coffee. 2028. Woo! The comet's almost there. The comet. The asteroid's almost there. Those are the dates for today. December 28th, 2023. I'm at 4 coffee.
I can't wait till next year where we have to start saying 2024. Okay.
Next week, yeah.
You have to remember to say 2024 in a week, yeah. Less than a week, even.
For me. I have to look at something to remind me.
All right, this has been Allison here from the Netherlands, who's hoping there won't be a tornado, a localized tornado here in the Netherlands that will blow my roof off, because we just got, what do you call them? Solar panels installed, so.
Sure.
And we will see you tomorrow for the Friday news dump. Though today was a bit of a news dump in itself. We'll see you there. And here is your mic drop moment.
Hey Jude and Revolution. Tommy and I both thought that Hey Jude was the best presentation that we've ever seen of the Beatles. And we're glad it was
yes,
on our
so
show.
are we. That is true. Have you met my brother Dick? Let me introduce. This is Tommy, and this is my brother Dick.
How do you do? How do you do? Enjoyed your work. You look different in person. Yeah, so do you. Yeah.
It's all the makeup. Too much makeup.
Do you have something important?
Something very important to say on American television.
You know, a lot of times we don't have opportunity saying anything important because it's American television. Every time you say something and try to say something important,
Clap, 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 clap. Cue the lines. Well, whether you can say it or not, keep trying to say it.
That's what's important.
You get that? Yeah. That is very important. Cue. Just a minute.
Wait a second.
Okay, cue the clap now.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.